All right. Good morning, my fabulous, fabulous Sonder fam. So excited to see everyone here on the social this morning, giving yourself a little bit of time for some self-care and some planning, which is so important. Taking that time to do the planning can really be the difference between a tranquil week and a super crazed week. So glad that you're spending the time here with us. My name's Maya, and I am coming to you from Aurora, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver. We have a lovely sunny day again today. Who knows, it might rain again later. We've gotten an odd amount of rain this summer, which is good because the state is frequently having some drought issues. And I know like there's been a lot of crazy weather issues. I know some of our folks in the South have been experiencing some intense heat. So I hope y'all are keeping cool. And hopefully this will give you that nice time this morning to kind of of take care of yourself, right? And spend that time. So we're going to work on our weekly setup. This will be the first week of August. I know there's a few days left of July, but we have to start out with that August journal. So hopefully you have your August journal. I saw some folks saying they hadn't gotten theirs yet. If you haven't gotten it, be sure to send an email to hello@silkandsonder.com and ask if they have some tracking information or maybe something got lost. So hopefully you get that soon. So today you might want to just take some notes on some scratch paper, get some sticky notes, that kind of thing for when you get your journal so you can get that all set up. Just a few housekeeping details. Make sure you set your chat to everyone so that everyone can see your comments. And if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, a lot of times it will keep flipping back to the host and panelist. And when it does that, the only people that see it are myself and my fabulous stage manager who is with me here today, Karen. She is coming to us from California. She might pop on and give a little wave. There she is. She's up earlier than I am, right? Because it's even earlier in California. So always glad to see her here helping out. She'll be keeping an eye on the chat, helping with any questions, those kinds of things as we move forward. So hopefully you've seen that this month's theme is tranquility, right? Again, that idea of calm and kind of feeling in charge of moving forward and just that nice serene sense. And so we're going to explore that all month this month, right? So hopefully you've been enjoying, if you were here with us last month, you're enjoying that theme of acceptance, and we're going to slowly transition into this idea of tranquility. So just a few little community guidelines. First of all, I do have that little picture about setting your Zoom chat to everyone, kind of what that looks like down in the bottom in the chat. So make sure that you do that. And then also just these community guidelines, we want to maintain a safe, positive, supportive space, right? So we want you to be kind and courteous to yourself as well as others. No promotions or spam. It's not a big deal to pop a link in. I know sometimes people talk about they use a specific app or something like that for different things. That's not a big deal, but it's just, we don't want like tons of that going through the chat. Respecting everyone's privacy. So if you know someone here in real life, you're not bringing what they say during a Sonder Social kind of out into the world. We like to say what happens here in Sonder Club and our Sonder Social stays here. No hate speech or bullying. Limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. The best place to ask those is in Sonder Club when you want to ask things like, what are some pins you use that don't bleed? Where do you get your stickers? Again, it's not a big deal to put that in the chat, but we want to kind of focus our chat today on the actual setup and on the activities. Again, any of those customer care inquiries, we want to make sure that those go to our headquarters team at hello@silkandsonder.com. They are Monday through Friday, kind of 9 to 5 operations. So give them a little bit of time if you email them on the weekends, because Karen and I, we don't have access to your accounts. We can't see where anything is or check with billing or anything like that. So you want to make sure to direct those questions to them. And remember, ultimately, these socials are a tool that helps elevate your emotional health through the power of community. but you are responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if something doesn't sit right with you, you're not really gelling with any of the activities. This isn't so much of an issue with the setups, but sometimes it can be with some of the journaling prompts. Just kind of chill, right? You can listen to the music, you can just do some coloring, you can work on something else until we get to something that works well for you, right? So let us get started here with our agenda. So first we're going to do, as we do with every weekly setup, we have what we call a mind map, and we explore different areas of our life as it relates to the theme. So we're going to start out with some tranquility today, but you'll see how we've blended tranquility and acceptance for those who are coming over from July. We're going to do our rosebud thorn activity, which is a great way to reflect back on the previous week. And then we're going to dig into that weekly setup there on the two main pages that we focus on setting up your week. And then we'll close out. So I always like to use these two little cartoons to remind folks of a couple of things. These cartoons are from the artist The Latest Kate. First of all, there's room for you here just as you are. So if things are going great, maybe you got a promotion, maybe your relationship is going well, kids maybe have some accomplishments you want to celebrate, please share those with us. We love celebrating with you. We love celebrating those successes, sharing those successes. Very, very exciting. Conversely, we know that life throws us curveballs, right? And sometimes things are not going well. We're struggling with some different things. Maybe we're struggling with a job, toxic environment. Maybe it's a job loss. Maybe there's been some illness going on with you or a family member. Maybe you've lost someone close to you. Maybe, again, there's just different kinds of things are happening and you're struggling a little bit. You share those with us as well. We want to support you. We want to help you through that. And sometimes just seeing someone else typing out things like "girl, same," or "I hear you," or "I'm so sorry that happened." That's important too, right? We're here for everything. So don't ever feel like you don't want to share too much good because you don't want to sound like you're bragging, or you don't want to share too much bad because you don't want to drag people down, right? That's not an issue here. We're here to share our whole lives and really kind of get that help and that support that we want. And speaking of that, the way you feel matters. No emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. So feel the feels, do the things, like whatever is working for you, just do what you need to do, right? So tranquility mind map. So this is going to be on a blank page. This isn't actually in your journal, so you're going to want to take note of this. It can be in a blank page. Some people like to use the very, very back page. I did it on page 7, which was a blank page. Some people like to use the scratch pad section in their weekly setup, which would be on page, it's not actually numbered, but which would be on page 29. Some people want to do it on sticky notes, like whatever works for you. So this month, we're going to explore how we can embrace that sense of tranquility in our lives. We've got 5 different weekends to focus on tranquility this month. So this week will be the first one. And so this week, we are going to focus on our thoughts and how we can cultivate tranquil thoughts. Oh, Marty, I'm so glad that you're saying the mind map is becoming an important tool. Yeah, I know they should have put a page in here in the journal. That would be very helpful. And I do think it's important because each month having a theme can be really very helpful and helps to kind of provide some structure for the rest of the activities that you're doing. So as we think about our thoughts, see how we're pulling acceptance in from last month for those of you who are here with us, but how can acceptance of things and people in your life lead to more tranquil thoughts, right? And so again, different ways to kind of divide this up. I'll show you, this is my page, right? I kind of mirrored the little graphic a little bit here. So for this first week, for thoughts, how can acceptance of things and people in my life lead to more tranquil thoughts? I wrote, acceptance allows me to go with the flow. It just allows things to be, allows me to live in the moment and not try to fix things or people. So that's how acceptance to me can help me manage my thoughts and help me feel a little more tranquil in that area, right? And I see folks are giving some thoughts and ideas for what they use. Emily uses the expense tracker for the mind map because she doesn't track expenses. Totally excellent. You might want to use the sleep tracker if you're not using that. People like to use the scratch pad so you can see it throughout the week. Again, anywhere you feel works for you is a good place to put that. And then every time you join us for the weekly setups, we will have a different area to dig into. And if you ever miss a week, you can always watch one of the replays to catch that, or you can ask in Sonder Club and folks will help you out there and kind of tell you what we focused on for the week. So I'm going to play a little music, let you work on that. You're free. Please feel free to share. Robbie's already shared that acceptance is letting go. Letting go means no worries. No worries equal tranquility. I like that. It's kind of like a formula, right? So let us know if you'd like kind of what you're working on in this area, and we'll check back in here in just a moment. All right. So thank you all so much for sharing in the chat different ways that you feel acceptance of things and people in your life can help lead to those more tranquil thoughts. And again, acceptance doesn't mean you necessarily are happy with that or you're good with how things are going. You're just kind of accepting that this is how things are, you know, like the little song, the Three Little Birds song, right? Every little thing's going to be all right. We'll get through this. And so really just kind of letting you have that, letting go really kind of helps you with that sense of peace and tranquility as you move forward. So again, each week we'll touch on different things. And I'm really enjoying this idea of tranquility for this month and kind of seeing how things piece together and what that looks like for our month of August. So the next part we're going to work on is our rosebud thorn. And so if you have July's journal, it's going to be on page 56. If you don't have July's journal, you're just starting out with this, August is your first month, you can put this anywhere, like maybe in a scratch pad. You can put this like on a scratch section, a blank page, maybe somewhere just right before the week, there's some blank pages. You could write it on your Sudoku page on page 24. If you don't use the monthly expense tracker, you could write it there. Just think of writing it somewhere. And so the idea is we have a rose, which is something that's a highlight, something that made you smile, something that made you happy. For those of you who have been with us for a while, you know, we've been doing this bedroom remodel. We finally finished setting up the bookcases and the headboard for our bed. It's bookcases is the headboard. And so it was not fun. So that also led to the fact the bookcases and the headboard were a thorn. They were a challenge, right? The thorn is definitely something that's maybe challenging for you in this last week, something that maybe has been a little bit of a struggle, maybe something out of your control. And then the bud is an emerging opportunity, something you're looking forward to, something exciting coming up. Maybe it's a trip, maybe it's you're going to have coffee with friends, you know, anything along those lines. For me, I've been working on, there's a book called Tranquility by Tuesday, I think, by Laura Vanderkam. And she talks about one of the rules she has is planning weekly one small adventure and a big adventure. So the small adventure is just something that's relatively, again, small, short time frame in the week. And then the big adventure is something that maybe takes up like 4 or 5 hours. So maybe it's like a weekend kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to maybe planning something that looks like that, because it helps us to have something to look forward to. There's a lot of research that talks about just having that sense of anticipation for something good that's coming up can make us feel almost as good as the actual event itself, so that having something to look forward to. So feel free to let us know what your rose, bud, and thorn are from this past week. Sometimes I'll scroll through I'll scroll through my phone pictures to kind of remember what happened during the week, scroll through my calendar to give you kind of a sense of what happened during the week. So I'll play a little bit of music. I'll put the name of the book in the chat, and we'll check back in here in just a few minutes. Thank you all so much for sharing in the chat the rose, bud, and thorn. A lot of folks have some different things that they're looking forward to for the week. Oh, Alyssa said her rose was paid off my student loans. Woohoo! Love to hear that. Maybe someday mine will be gone too. A lot of people, rose was the Barbie movie. We're going to go see that later on today, so I'm excited to check that out. Definitely different kinds of thorns, folks having some maybe physical pain, maybe pain with people, those kinds of things. But it's always good to spend that time reflecting back. And then you can go back to this section when you do the monthly setup, which I'm doing a monthly setup social on Monday night. We've already had a couple of them that will be, the recordings will be posted out there. But that will be, we'll do one of those. And so when you do the monthly, you look back on your whole month. And so it's kind of nice really quickly to look back at your rosebud thorn each week, so you can remember kind of what was going on during the month. Because if you're like me, time goes by pretty quick, and sometimes you have a tendency to forget kind of like where you were, what was going on throughout the month. So let's dive into that weekly planner. So the first thing, and this is on page, oops, I lost my page. Let me find my page. This is on page 26 and 27 in our journals. And believe it or not, this is week 31 of the year. So we have already hit the halfway mark, and we're rapidly kind of cycling into the second half of the year. So hopefully feeling good about that, and thinking about what you want to accomplish and how you want to feel for the rest of this year. So this is just how you want to feel for the week. And so I always think of it as like how I want to show up, right? How I want to show up in the world. What kind of vibe do I want to give off for the week? So some different ways to go about this. Pick a word, right? Lots of words here. We have one person who picked 3 words: accomplished and control and peaceful. Want to feel valued, want to feel flexible, creative, mighty, love the Mighty Mouse, celebrated, light and airy from letting go. I also found this called the Art of Growth Feelings Wheel, which I thought was really cool. It's very, obviously very artistic, and just kind of starts out within the center. There's peace, faith, and love, and the feelings that go around each one of those. And then the outside circle is the more negative, fear, anxiety, sadness, shame, and anger, and then the feelings that go with those. Now, obviously, the way you want to feel, I'm sure, is not going to be in the outer circle, right? It will be in the more in the inner circle. Yeah, I really liked it. It's very pretty. It's very artsy, right? Loving the kind of artistic look. And like I said, it's called the Art of Growth Feelings Wheel. And I just Googled different feelings wheels, and for finding some that were kind of fun. And then I also found one that was with emojis. Maybe you like emojis, and those are kind of fun. And so maybe how you want to feel is one of these emojis, and you can kind of pop that into that little section there for how you want to feel. So I'm not going to necessarily play a song, but I'll let you. So one of the things I also recommend for folks, especially new folks, well, anybody who is here, but you might want to take a screenshot or a picture with your phone of these slides, so that you can go back to them later when you want to kind of see some of the different words. So I'll let you kind of think about the words, and kind of how you want to feel as you go into the week. I like the enraptured. That's kind of a fun word under love. Kind of fun, different words, and then the little emoji wheel. So think about how you want to feel. Oh, good. C's found the, yeah, it's not an endorsement of content. Yeah, exactly. I'm like she found the Art of Growth feelings wheel. So you can go and you can save that as well. So think about how you want to feel, and then tie that in as you start to think about your weekly major 3 goals, right? And I love this little picture of the ant with the stick. It's probably an AI generated, CG generated picture, but that's okay. I don't care. It's really pretty and cute. So as you're thinking about your goals, use those August intentions, if you've filled those out, on page 9 to help you with that. Use your monthly habit tracker that you filled out on page 11 as you set up and you think about those weekly goals. Maybe you want to set your goals through the lens of tranquility. Maybe you want to create 3 no goals that affect your life in a positive way. So maybe one of your goals is no alcohol for the week, no doom scrolling on the internet, no more than a certain number of minutes spent on social media, no impulse spending, no takeout meals. Maybe you want to look back at previous weeks or previous journals, and see if there's anything that you've missed there. frame your goal around maybe a personal challenge, right? So maybe it's something you're going to do, a fitness challenge or a cleaning or decluttering challenge, a self-care challenge, a super salad challenge. Maybe it's something where you want to kind of try some sort of new food or something new as you go through. Here's some examples of things that people have done. One person just has the goals: declutter, organize, and clean. Another person has prioritize sleep, make a movement plan, and increase effort at work. I love the left brain, right brain, and no brain, right? Those are 3 different areas where they want to kind of have some different goals around those particular areas. It doesn't have to be a specific thing. So the person with the little hearts put, allow my younger self to be seen and loved, integrate new weekly goals into existing ones, or give myself tons of grace along the way. Those are kind of their goals for what that wants to look like this week. And then there's another one that says, enjoy time with family, share gratitude with others, and rest. So there's some ideas. If you're like, well, I already have kind of some main goals for the month, and so I don't necessarily need weekly ones. Maybe I want to repurpose this section into maybe 3 new vocabulary words I want to use. Maybe if you're learning a new language, you could throw in 3 new vocab words from a different language. Maybe you want to keep track of, or you want to see some movies or some TV shows that you want to see this week. Maybe it's a playlist that you want to put in here, music that you want to listen to help you feel more tranquil, or to feel however you want it to feel for the week. Maybe it's 3 fun activities for yourself, things that you want to do. So take a few moments. I'm going to play a little music, let you work on your feeling and your goals and see how those can tie together. And we'll check back in here in just a moment. All right. Oops. So hopefully you've had a chance to kind of think about the feeling. I saw some folks putting things like feeling accomplished or feeling productive, feeling grounded, and then thinking about those 3 major goals as you put those there. And I know there was someone who put some links, and they put a link to that growth wheel. I also did not read the blog, so I'm not 100% sure on what all the content is in there, but I do like the feeling wheel. And then someone else talked about there's a wheel with feelings and then how it manifests in the body. I didn't save that one, but I think if you just Google things like emotions wheel or feeling wheel and feelings in the body, you can find some different ones. So those are kind of interesting as well. And then, like I said, the fun little emoji one to kind of see how you want to go through and how you want to feel. And then those 3 goals, hopefully able to kind of find those. So as you're thinking of, Hannah's saying it's called sensations wheel. So thanks, Hannah. So as you think about those 3 goals that you've set or you've thought about, maybe you haven't 100% gelled on those yet, we'll dig into those to-dos. And sometimes the to-dos and the goals kind of go together, go hand in hand. And so one thing that I've seen some people do is in the to-do, they actually write a little mini goodbye letter to the previous month. So it'd be goodbye July, thank you for X, Y, and Z. I appreciated this, that, and the other thing. And then they have a little welcome letter to hello August. Hello August, I'm hoping that these things happen. I'm looking forward to this, right? So kind of writing those fun little letters. So some people use that for their first week in the month to do in their to-dos. Other people have done things like bingos. We know we have lots and lots of Sonder fam who love a good bingo, right? So kind of putting some different things in there as well. A lot of people really like this Eisenhower matrix. And again, you can kind of Google Eisenhower matrix if you want to see. There's different videos and things that kind of dig deeper into what this looks like. But essentially, it's this little box down here in the bottom right where it talks about things that are important and urgent, things that have those clear deadlines, things you have to do by a specific time. There's also kind of looking at things and seeing if they're important, but maybe not urgent. They don't have to be done this week, but they have to be done at some point. So what does that look like? How are you kind of keeping track of that? Maybe there are things that that you want to kind of add in, not necessarily urgent, but things that you need to. Things that are not important, but urgent. So maybe you're able to delegate some things if you can find some people to help enlist folks in your household, or maybe you've been taking on too many things at work and there's some things that other folks can help you with, seeing if you can delegate some of those things. And not important and not urgent things that you can delete, maybe things that are distractions that are making you feel worse about getting nothing done. They're okay in moderation. So one of the things that's funny, I'll always say things like, I don't have time to watch an hour documentary or whatever, but I certainly have an hour to spend scrolling on my phone. Or I tell myself, like, I don't have time to really sit down and knit. Even for 15 minutes, I'm like, oh, I just don't have those 15 minutes. But I sure spend at least 30 minutes on Facebook and 30 minutes on Instagram, because I do have timers on my phone for those. And I'm like, if I had an hour to spend on social media, why did I not have 15 minutes to spend doing something that I love, something that helps my mind more than the scrolling? So really kind of using this little matrix to kind of help you as you think about those to-dos and what that looks like as you go through. Here's some other fun examples of things that people have done with to-dos. Again, some more bingos, dividing it into different areas. So maybe you have a me to-do, a family to-do, and a home to-do. Maybe you like a ta-da list. So it's things after you do them, you write them down. So it's kind of like, ta-da, I already did this thing. I like the try a to be list. So be present, be encouraging, be confident, be brave, be uncomfortable, be thoughtful, be intentional, right? Things how they want to be. Oh, Mary, thank you for sharing the me, fam, and home. We do get all these examples from our Sonder Club. So they're real life people examples, right? Stickers and doodles are also a fun way to kind of fill up this space. And again, if you already have like maybe a master to-do list somewhere, or maybe you like to do your to-do list on the weekly pages underneath the days, absolutely fine. You can use this for kind of whatever works for you. I'm also going to go into and show you, and then I'll give you a song to kind of work on both these sections. But sometimes the habit and activity kind of ties in to the to-do box. So some people kind of like to use these interchangeably. They prefer one over the other depending on the week. So this is excuse me, a graphic that I had shown probably a month or so ago, and everybody really liked it, and I thought it was really cool. But this idea of things that give you energy. So maybe you've been experiencing some lack of energy in your weeks. And so maybe you want to add either as a habit and an activity or a weekly to do some of these energy givers. So things like getting some sunshine, getting in some fresh air, meditation, hydration, nature, movement, rest, reading, music, healthy food. I know Karen here as one of our stage manager here, but she talks about how meditation is kind of not her jam. She's tried it. is kind of tough. But so lately, this last week, she's been doing the meditation, but it's been sitting and holding her puppy dog, and giving him little snuggles for like 10 minutes and just kind of focusing on, petting him and being with him and talking to him and just kind of, and that's a form of meditation as well, right? So if something doesn't work for you like you think it's supposed to, right? Yeah, puppy snuggles, kitty snuggles, that can be a form of meditation, right? Knitting can be a form of meditation if it's something that is really easy, or crochet, as long as it's something that's pretty basic, can just kind of get you into that pattern. Yeah, Karen's using the Calm app. Calm app and Snickers. Snickers is her dog. She's not eating Snickers bars. But best meditation ever. So love that idea. And then here's some examples of things that people have done in the habit and activity. Amy, yes, movement can be meditative too. Sometimes a meditative walk can be really, really helpful. So you can see different things that people have done. You don't have to fill in every single line. One person has dishes, laundry, and daily ritual. One person just has hydrate, and that's all they have, and that's what they want to focus on for the week. Love it. Some people like to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the first thing they do 5 times, next one 4, next one 3, 2, and once. That's kind of a fun way to do it. This last week and this week, again, in that book that I've been reading, The Tranquility by Tuesday, she talks about anything that you do 3 times a week is a habit. And so I did, for my goal for each of the things that I wrote down was 3, right? I wanted to do it 3 times. And I actually found some of them I did more than 3 times, but kind of just setting that works really well. So good question. Allie's asking, how does this part differ from the monthly habit tracker? How do people use it differently? So the way that I use this is something that's very specific for the week, and something that I don't necessarily want to do every single day. I don't feel like I need to do it every single day, but I need to do it at least 3 times, or maybe once or twice during the week. So the monthly habit tracker is, for most people, things they want to do every single day. So in that monthly habit tracker, they'll have things like, maybe brush my teeth, or make my bed, or read for 10 minutes, or something that they want to do like that. So that's kind of how you can see these as different. One thing that a lot of folks like to do in their habit activity for the weekly is say, fill in my monthly trackers, right? To remind them to go back and fill out that mood tracker, make sure that's filled out if you're using that for moods or whatever. And then your habit tracker, right? Making sure that you have a chance to go back in that. Some people also like to remind themselves here in the weekly to go look at their monthly intentions. We spend a lot of time doing the monthly setup, and then sometimes we tend to never look back at that page. And so kind of reminding themselves to go back and take a look. So spend some time doing this, your to-dos and your habit tracker. I will check back in here in just a moment. All right. So hopefully I saw lots of good ideas. I loved, and I'm trying to see who was it that had said they were going to tie them together. I have to scroll back through here really quick, but they were going to do just kind of tying in again that feeling and the goals and the to-dos and the habits, just really tying, what that looks like together. The other thing I had mentioned was sometimes for my habits or my to-dos, I tell myself I only need to do it for a certain amount of time, right? So somebody was talking about wanting to get outside, but it's been really hot. Okay, so maybe you tell yourself, I'm going to get outside just 5 minutes. I can set a timer. Maybe I try to go early in the morning when it's still cool. Or cooler, and or maybe I'll go in the evening after the sun sets and it will be a little bit cooler, and maybe I'll take a glass of water with me or my water bottles so I can feel hydrated, or maybe I have a little squirt bottle I can kind of squirt myself with, right? Kind of like, how can you make those 5 minutes good? Because yes, it's absolutely good to get outside to get some fresh air, but yeah, it's really tough when it's really hot. So thinking about what you can do to kind of kind of tie that in and what that looks like. Let's see. Yeah. So Tammy had said, wants to feel in control for this week. That's the feeling. And so the 3 goals are being in control of cravings, spiraling thoughts, and time-sucking activities. Oh my gosh, there's so many of those, right? And so habits are limiting those activities, limiting the scrolling and the snoozing and the snacking, right? A little alliteration there, a little S's going on. Love that, right? That is a great way to tie those things in together so that you've got kind of a bigger bang for your buck, right? So how those things really can kind of get you to that feeling that you want to feel. Other people, I was just kind of scrolling through and looking at some different kinds of things. Yeah. And so someone else, Marty had said, like, I have so many things on my to-do list. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to prioritize. That Eisenhower matrix might be really good as you look at those to-do lists. Is there something you can delegate? Is there something that could maybe go into next week? Maybe you want to pull something over into next week. Or the other thing is sometimes you just want to say, like, okay, what are those things that I absolutely have to do? And those become your first thing in the morning. This is the very first thing I'm going to do before I do anything else. I'm going to get it done. And then you'll feel so much better. I have noticed, tell me if you do this. I will think about this thing that I have to do, and I will think about it, and I will think about it, and I will put it off, but I will think about it, and it will constantly be in the back of my brain and will constantly be driving me crazy. I finally do the thing, and it takes me 10, 15 minutes. And I think, why did I put this off for so long and let this take up so much mental space when it only took me 10 or 15 minutes to do? This is crazy, right? This is not helping me at all. So sometimes I'm like, okay, if I need to do this thing, you know what? I'm just going to do it right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Right. And just make yourself do it, and you'll feel so much better, and you'll check something off the list, and it will feel so much better. So try to avoid the letting the thing live in your brain, right? As it goes through. So let's flip over. In our last 15 minutes, we're going to spend working on what some people call the B side, right? And so it's on page 27. So we've got a meal plan, we've got the mind, body, health, and then we've got the shopping list to kind of fill in here. So let's take a look here. This is, I would say, the meal plan probably is one of our most heavily repurposed. Yeah, I love Sherry saying unloading the dishwasher took 3 minutes. She actually timed it. I love the timers. Setting yourself a timer and saying, okay, I'm going to do this thing that I hate, but I'm only going to do it for 10 minutes, or I'm only going to do it for 15 minutes. You'd be surprised how quickly that goes. And then you get it done, and it feels so good. So you can use this meal planner to plan your meals. You can use it to track your meals. So some people like to track their meals if they're maybe kind of trying to look at some symptoms, issues, medical conditions, excuse me, as they go through. But I will give you, there's lots of different ways to use this, right? So maybe you want to use it as a rest plan, daily affirmations, a cleaning plan, a wardrobe planner. And I'll cycle through these as we play some music and you work on these. Again, affirmations, chore list, appointments, wardrobe tracker, packing list. I frequently use this to track what I'm going to wear when I go on a trip, because it helps me pack and stay packing light as opposed to packing everything in my closet. Then that mind, body, health plan. And Amy's saying using this as a declutter plan, right? Another really good idea. So for the mind, body, health, some people use it to track. They have kind of a theme for the day. So meatless Monday, TV free Tuesday, walking Wednesday, those kinds of things. People like to, again, bingos, right? Bingos are always good to use. The person in the top middle was tracking 7 types of rest. So if you Google 7 types of rest, there's some different ideas about ways that sometimes rest is not just like sleeping or sitting. It might be things like listening to music or grounding in nature, right? Those different kinds of areas. One person used it to plan their meals. They have one of the meal kits, and they use it to kind of say, okay, what are we having for dinner? Did you ever think as an adult you would have to spend so much time figuring out what you're going to eat for dinner? One of those things. I never thought that was going to be such a thing. Another person has something I did well this week, some ways that I loved others this week. They just kind of used it that way. One person gave themselves 3 different options for each day, right? Different things that they could do. Again, the idea is, what are some things that help your mind and your body? One of the ways that I repurpose this for this week is I'm going to track my small wins. So things each day, excuse me, that I consider a win. Right. So if I was actually able to get outside and walk, or if I was actually, I ate my lunch that I packed and didn't go out to dinner, didn't go out and get something, or those kinds of things, or I decluttered a little section or whatever. And then that shopping list obviously can be used as a shopping list. But here's some other things. Some people just make themselves a reminder of no unnecessary spending. I love to stay out of the dollar store. No junky snacks. They have a packing list. Again, lots of different ideas for some fun bingos, different intentions that they were setting, self-care and restoring their soul, or chores, right? So lots of different ways to use these different areas. Some weeks I use them. Some weeks I just kind of pop some stickers in there, or maybe it's a doodle, or maybe it's some notes from if I get a phone call message and I need to kind of write some things in there. So let us know what you're doing with these sections. We love to get different ideas for things that you're working on with these different areas. And we'll check back in here in just a minute. And then I will show you some ideas for things that people have done with their daily pages. right. So hopefully have some good ideas for some different things that you want to do with these sections. Like I said, sometimes I use this page a lot, depending on what I'm trying to track or what I want to make myself remember, or kind of helping with some of those to-dos. Sometimes I don't use this page much at all. I am going to try to, we're trying to get back into the meal planning again. We used to be really good about making a meal plan on Sunday, and then we would go shopping, and then we would have all the stuff, and we were really good about it. And then things kind of slipped away. And it's so funny how good habits are so easy to slip out of, but bad habits are so easy to slip into. So I'm trying to use the meal plan this week to kind of help us get back into that planning and having the food and not going out, because that tends to get a little expensive, right? Just a little much. So the last little section on here is the I am loving. I forgot to put any picture in here. A lot of times I will put maybe a quote, or I will put something. I will put maybe like a little picture or a book, or something like that. Again, you can use this little section for whatever you want. Some people use it to track. They kind of say I am loving self-care, and kind of one thing that they did or they want to do this week for self-care in this little section. So here are some examples of ways that you can use these daily pages, right? So in the next section, so it'd be page 28 and 29, you can see some different things that people have done. Some people block it out into like highs and lows for the day. Maybe it's a brain dump, things that they want to kind of get out of their head and put onto paper, self-care things that they did, and maybe some household tasks that happened. The next person on the right used it to track kind of some events. So some times, things they needed to do some different things, those to-dos, those daily to-dos, and then some chores. And then they put their affirmation, they're going to put their affirmation down at the bottom. So, in the Sonder Club app, we have a daily affirmation. So you can write those in there. I actually write my daily affirmation in the one thing box up in the top, right? Then another person used it. They have their themes. So that Motivation Monday, Transformation Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday, right? They kind of have those things up at the top. Then they have some appointments they have to keep, mind and body, and then a little reflection for the day. Then the next one, you can see they have up at the top the chores that they have, right? And the one thing, so dishes, laundry, living room. They have a Bible verse, they have a quote, and then they have an affirmation that they're tracking, right? So different kinds of things. Yeah, Molly is saying that she used the I'm loving box the last couple of months for quotes that have to do with a monthly theme. Love that, love it. And then here's one more example. Someone had put, they are tracking the weather up at the top right. Notice they had said freezing. That must have been during the winter months, because I don't think anybody's saying that now. Exercise that they did for the day, the brain dump of just things that they needed to kind of put down, jot down somewhere, and then a little to do. Same thing over here on the right. I love that they have accomplished, right? So it's kind of that ta-da idea. So here's the things that I accomplished. Here's things I did for my self-care. And here's things that I need to do tomorrow. I'm not sure what a kitty shift is, but shifting the kitties around. And then they have their little affirmation up in the one thing box. So again, different ways to kind of keep track of those different areas. So let's see, I was kind of looking to see. So these are just, again, some different ideas, and I use it differently every week. This week, I actually divided it in half. So I have kind of a day. So kind of the morning to, 5 p.m. And then I have my after 5 p.m. things that I have on a list. Yeah, you can totally do like a journal prompt if you are doing the daily rituals. And you write small enough, you could use this section for your response to the daily rituals or the response to the daily journal prompts that you can get. Again, kind of different things. And then on the scratch pad this week, I'm actually trying to keep an idea of what I do for my morning routine and my evening routine and try to stick to those things, because again, it's really easy to slip out of those good habits and slip right into those habits that don't help me. One of the things, a little quote that I had, something I actually wrote in my weekly to-dos. So it's kind of a check for me, is I put, how will future me benefit from what I choose to do this week? So I try to think every time I do something or I write something down that I need to do, I ask myself, how is future me going to benefit from this task, right? So lots of different ways to kind of look at this and how you set it up. And again, remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. This is all about what works for you, and what works for you this week might not work for you next week. So it's kind of fun to take a look, share those weekly planners in Sonder Club. You saw all of those examples that we got are from Sonder Fam members that we pull from Sonder Club. So the more you can share in there, the more examples we have to pull. Just try to as clear of a picture as you can and as straight as a picture, because sometimes the pictures are, there's some nice pictures, but they wouldn't actually work very well to show people. So a little light writing, but anyway, so share those in Sonder Club. Believe it or not, we have come to the end of our time together. So just a few little QR codes. We still have the Refer a Friend program going. Karen's also dropping the links in there. If you refer a friend and they sign up, you get $10. They get $10 to spend. We do send out a survey where you can share your feedback on the socials. If there's maybe different times that you'd like to see the socials, if there's different topics you want us to cover. I have heard rumor of a potential book club social coming. I don't have any more details than that, but the more you can tell them in these surveys, hey, I would really like a book club social, the more that they'll look at that. Karen has also put the link in there about for the YouTube events. So this event and all of our other events that come with your membership are there. Make sure that you bookmark and save that link. You can't get to it from the regular Silk and Sonder page. You have to have that specific link. So save that link. And we frequently will pop it into Sonder Club too, so that you can kind of take a look. So have a fabulous week. You're all set up. You're ready to go for this first week of August. We only have one more day of July after this, and you're ready to dive into that new month. So thank you all so much for being here. Hopefully we will see you again at another social soon. Take care.
I'm so happy to be here, yeah. I'm just happy to be here. Still I know the world's on fire, the situation's dire. A lot of work and courage gonna be required, but I'm just happy to be here. I'm sure there's many versions inside this multiverse where I put it in forward instead of in reverse, or the technical skill I neglected to rehearse understandably landed me handily in the world I hurt. It could be worse. I could be cursed to be living a life stuck on a different timeline where I never find time to discover my path and never ask the questions that I needed to ask, and never sign the bottom line on my soul contract. And the multiple me's that just might be insignificant in this infinity, but still strumming the chords on a string theory. The only thing that's clear to me is I'm so happy to be here, yeah. I'm just happy to be here. Still I know the world's on fire, the situation's dire. A lot of work and courage gonna be required, but I'm just happy to be here. My body is a time machine, traveling through time and space at 60 minutes per hour, but my mind is like a trampoline.